losses to COVID-19 in 4 months. Ghana and Amanti Holdings signed $560 million railway contracts.
Leviticus 19 verse 29. Do not profane your daughter by making her a harlot, so that the land will not fall to harlotry and the land will become full of lewdness.
Which possible headline
could go with
that
this?
Prostitute steals colleagues' kids while engaging a client. That's the Chronicle. So that's the Chronicle. And burglaries hit new KJTR market, 70% of gates defective. I don't know if Housing Ministry was bewitched under Mahama. That's according to Samuel Atachian. And provide legal basis for exclusion of voter ID card, court orders EC, adventures of cuffing the gate. That's a piece by Dr. Sewa Menfi. And Diego Costa handed 6-month prison sentence and £482,000 fine in tax fraud case. Also on the back page, I had to hide in order to play. Samuel Eto'o reveals his parents didn't let him play football. And German FA will no longer punish players who show solidarity with George Floyd.
All right, on the front page of the Daily Guide, court orders EC to justify old cards removal. Rawlings demands respect for the EC. NPP picks Nana and Baumia for 2020. We're still waiting for the NDC running mate. Speaker orders probe into Seglemi housing fraud.
The new weekend crusading guys, Rawlings blast NDC intellectuals. Contractors abrogate contract with Ghana First company side fraud, abuse, extortion, and breach of agreement. And EC must work to uphold electoral integrity. All on the front page. And King of Land Guards collapsed in court when grilled over leading attacks in Pantang.
On the back page of the Ghanaian Times, 2 more inmates, 6 officers at Ankerford Prison test positive for COVID-19. On the front page, exclusion of voters' ID card and upcoming registration exercise. SC demands legal basis from the EC. Tourism industry loses $171 million. Don't organize Friday press. So pretty much the same headlines on the front page of the Ghanaian Times.
And the Business and Financial Times says business confidence rebounds after lockdown ease, according to a report. And COVID-19 health facilities reviewing protocols amidst infection of frontline staff. And NIC must choose business continuity over increased investment, says Activa boss, as insurance sector feels COVID-19 economic downturn.
Okay, my very last paper is the Gold Street Business and Bank of Ghana's digital currency agenda underway. The Ministry of Finance and the State Interest and Governance Authority moved to stem worsening performance of state-owned enterprises. Commander Sugar Factory set to receive $28 million capital injection. That's it for the Gold Street Business.
And the Daily Statement says mass testing not panacea to COVID-19. Education Ministry to Ablakwa. $9 million to boost tourism and hospitality industry. Also on the front page, NDC flaunts its 70 radio stations nationwide. Comes with a photograph of Julius Debra. And no child is born a racist. Educate children on discrimination. That's according to Jerome Boateng. And J.J. Rawlings encouraged me not to quit boxing for military.
Azuma Nelson.
Nelson.
Wow. Okay, so let's do the online reviews brought to you by Zenith Bank and Your Best Interest and Goyle Good Energy. Of course, to all of the valued customers of Goyle, it's great news because Goyle is reminding you of how much they value their relationship with you by giving you some important tips to stay safe when you come and visit their service station. So remember to cover your mouth with tissue when you cough and dispose of the tissue immediately. Wash your hands with soap and running water, which has been provided at every service station. And do this especially when you handle money. You can also use alcohol-based sanitizers if you're not in a position to wash your hands. Please maintain a minimum distance of 1.5 meters between you and other customers and the attendants. And please, let's observe these simple protocols together so we can defeat the COVID-19 virus. Now, if you exhibit any symptoms, don't go straight to a hospital. Just call the hotlines 055-2222-004 or 055-2222-005. And let's all stay safe out there. Let's see what's on myjoyonline.com this morning. And COVID-19 patient delivers baby via cesarean section at Elwak Isolation and Treatment Center. That's the big one. Congratulations to mother and baby. And Kofi Aduma questioned by CID over his predictions on easing of COVID-19 restrictions. It's a fascinating story. MyJoy9.com. Kofi Aduma, when he said that he was called and questioned as to where he got his information, which was mostly accurate. You know, in advance of the president's address, he put out some predictions and they turned out to be accurate. And now he says, according to the story, generally journalists will not tell their sources, but they were projections, so I didn't find anything wrong with that. They just questioned me and allowed me to go. I think this suggests that he didn't actually have a source. He just made some projections which turned out to be right. But if he had a source, I'm pretty sure Kofi Aduma used to be, a multimedia journalist before he moved to another broadcaster. I think he's with Angel. Angel right now. And you know, it's how we're all trained, right? We don't give up our sources.
Not at all.
No, and it's a journalist's job. So it's amusing to think that the police would feel a need to interview a journalist because he got some predictions right, because they were too accurate. So they want to know the source. But journalists intercept documents every day. We come out with exposés. Manasseh does expose after expose. Kwete Nate is exposing things all the time. We get information. So why must we be questioned by the police because our information is accurate? It's a strange dynamic. I'm not sure why the police felt that this was their job to do. Anyway.
Have they picked up Oswald as well?
Who's that?
You remember that Twitter guy who was predicting all?
Yeah. Maybe they should pick him up too. Oh yeah, I forgot about him. Yeah. Okay. City Newsroom has these. COVID-19 AMA begins data collection on mosques and churches. Also, threats of prosecution over abandoned Saglemi housing projects needless, according to Samson Ahi. CNN has Trump shares letter calling peaceful protesters terrorists. And on BBC Africa, African Development Bank chief to face fresh probe.
Right, so let's get into the papers. And the center spread of the Daily Graphic, Conference Center faces imminent collapse, engineers warn. And we're told that the lack of maintenance of the Accra International Conference Center over the years is threatening the structural integrity of the national edifice that serves as a major hub for national and international events. Currently, the concrete on the columns at the basement of the building is crumbling rapidly and peeling off, exposing the iron rods and the columns to corrosion. And that's something that, caught my attention, Kojoani Nimwa. The fact that as a people, we build lots of things, be it roads or what have you, we allow them to deteriorate, spend huge sums of money, build new ones, or embark on major refurbishment, when all we could have done is to maintain them so they last very long. There's been this back and forth about the motorway, for instance, because the runabout, the interchange is going to be commissioned today. The NDC has talked about, how the president should invite the former president. But one thing we're not talking about is this.
The president should invite the people of Ghana. They paid for it.
Thank you.
If anyone should take credit, it's the people of Ghana.
You see, but one thing we're not talking about is the fact that, if you move away from the interchange, assuming you're coming from Tema and you get onto the motorway itself, the road is in a deplorable state. Of course, it served us well for the past 55 years. But what it means now is that we should be thinking of constructing another one. I saw a road that was constructed in New Jersey in 1951, and it's had, rehabilitation just once, 1951. We constructed the motorway in 1965 because they consistently maintain the road to ensure that the road is able to last for a very, very long time. What's happened to us? Well, we'll let it go. It gets damaged. We'll come back, spend so much money, and then we'll repair it. How many times haven't we talked about the factories that were built by Kwame Nkrumah that we allowed them to rot? We have consistently talked about them. So, this story actually shows or depicts our culture of a lack of maintenance. And right from secondary school, if you are learning about the problems of the Ghanaians, one of the things you'll be taught is lack of the culture of maintenance. 20 years after we left secondary school, we're talking about the same thing.
We don't want to have to print new textbooks, so we are keeping the behavior
intact.
But we have not
changed.
That's the point I'm making. If we change, we'll have to change our textbooks, which say the character of Ghanaians include lack of maintenance.
Or our textbooks, which also say the head is for carrying load. Because I saw a textbook that actually said that. But apart from the culture of the lack of maintenance, is also perhaps not wanting to build things that will last, because we want to make as much profit as we can from monies that we have for projects today. So instead of investing the full or the total amount into doing what will last, we'll try to cut corners. I remember, I think it was last year or so, when we were doing the review, and this story came up about how one of the hospitals, the people who were supplying them with antiseptic or the disinfectant to clean, were supplying them with a disinfectant with less, that was not as strong as should be, just so that they could make the money or the profit off of that. So, it brings to mind the fact that as human beings, there are times when we cut corners that we shouldn't cut for our immediate benefits, not thinking about the long term. So I think it's time we start thinking about our children and our children's children, who will perhaps be using the Tema motorway, and let's fix those potholes. You know what I mean?
A lot of this is also political interference. If technocrats, are as good as their certificates say they are, and they are left to do the job, we would probably have less of these problems.
Yes.
We've had leaders in the past come along and declare that roads are the best roads ever seen. And then 3 months later there are potholes on those roads. It happens periodically and regularly. From all parties we get politicians doing this, and it is that political interference that makes it okay for them to cut corners.
Yeah.
Because somehow they need to show a result to the people. So hurry up, get it done as quickly as possible. Let's show the people that the work is done, and then it's not done to the
Speaking of roads, and my mind goes to Lekma. We haven't been there in a while. We probably should.
We should. Check on that. Should we do that Monday morning?
We should check on what's going on with that road. But let me move on to a story in the Finder about funeral homes set to reject bodies. So two prominent funeral homes, one in Accra and another one in Lashibi, have been speaking about the fact that their morgues are getting full up, and very soon they will have to start turning bodies away. And obviously this is mainly because of the ban on large gatherings. People are still unwilling to do the 25 or less.
Right, let's talk more about these things in a bit. Right now, the BBC News.